Hello everybody, today we're going to talk everything about HDB and I'm Raymond.
I'm Dennis here. Yeah, HDB is an integral part of our life, and most importantly, we have a lot of our Singapore population, whether are they PRs or Singapore citizens or young families or even elderlies, they are living in HDB because it is so embedded into our Singaporean identity. And a lot of people would ask, I don't know whether you've met this question before or not, but does ever of your clients or your friends ask you, you got do HDB meh?
I think quite often because a lot of times I'll post all this about launches, sometimes about resale, all this, right? But they'll ask, hey, HDB, like they felt that it's a bit of a lower quantum to do.
And they thought agents or real estate agents like us, we won't do. But a lot of my friends were asking me, hey Dennis, you go do HDB one. But I see everything on your social media is all condo. Yeah, I do everything.
Yeah.
HDB is actually a bread and butter for many of us as well. And because we are also living in it, some of us actually elevate from our assets from there. We all started from HDB somehow. So today, the main topic of our podcast is really all about HDB. And HDB, if you ask me, I feel there's a lot of things that we can talk about, but we will share what's really essential for everyone else to know.
I think if let's say we will talk everything about it, it will be never ending. But mostly the gist of maybe if let's say you are a seller or buyer. Okay, without further ado, shall we? Okay, so this is a disclaimer for our videos. Anything that we say actually is our opinion. And yeah, let's go. Okay, so here's our contact. If you need any advice, any comment regarding HDB, private, new launch, you can scan our QR code. However, go in our social medias from there.
Particularly for here, HDB, feel free to scan our QR code.
Right, Dennis, so today what we will be talking about?
Actually, we will talk about like what you mentioned. First one will be HDB resale versus BTO. Actually, what is really needed for every single one of us. Second, when we sell our HDB, what do we look out for? Third, if we want to buy an older HDB for whatever reasons, what are the pitfalls or what are the benefits of it? Number 4, should you buy or sell without an agent? So for these 4 topics, they are the main gist of what you should look out for.
Okay, so for many homeowners, right, that is like they always ask, should you be under the team BTO or team resale?
Yep.
Like for you, what will you choose?
I think in common consensus, everyone will go for the BTO because it is like the golden ticket for all Singaporeans. Correct. It's an entitlement if you ask me. However, there are some of us that will be a little bit leaning towards the resale side, maybe due to some situations at home or their life situation or even financial situation. But ultimately, it is still based on your own family and individual needs.
I think also mainly because of who are the target audience. Like, are they a young couple? Are they maybe upgraders? Or like you said, the family with urgent needs? Or sometimes even retiree. Like my retiree clients or friends ask me, hey Raymond, what should I do? Now I say in the resale HDB, should I stay here for good or go and invest in the BTO? I mean, now we have the plus and prime area that's coming up. Then what are the pros and cons of having a BTO or a resale? Comparing the upfront costs, the grants, and the waiting time. Okay, these are I think a lot of concerns from the home buyers themselves and what they're actually looking to. I think a lot of them, they are very clueless because once they have intention to buy a house, what do? Google.
Yeah, Google. Yep.
What should I do? What is the procedure? After you got 1,001 grants that comes out.
Actually, they don't just Google. A lot of people ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek, and the answers do come out. Actually, the most important part where we want exact answers for all this, right? Whether you're buying a BTO or resale, they need to apply something called the HFE, HDB flat eligibility. And that one will tell you exactly what you can have, what you cannot.
In fact, to apply for HFE, do you know how long does it take?
The shortest I had from a client was 3 days.
3 days.
Longest was 1.5 months.
1.5 months. So imagine, right, you wanting to go into a ballot for a BTO and you wait and HDB doesn't come out.
Ayo.
How do you feel, man?
They need to wait for another one already.
Exactly, and imagine the one that you're going to ballot, right, is a location that you wanted so much. So I think the best way is to apply HFE early. Don't wait until the very last minute. I think there's an opening now in July coming up soon.
Yes.
Current HDB mentioned that during the BTO balloting process, there will be no processing of HFE. Yeah, so if you want to ballot for BTO right now in July, please apply HFE early. The longest my clients have waited almost 2 months.
2 months?
Because a lot of shortfall of all those documents they need. Some are like freelancers, some are not fully employed. Yeah, so with that in mind, they have a lot of documents to submit.
It's a hassle if you ask me. But HDB also want to know the exact financial situation you're in so that they can
help you further.
Yeah, exactly. And HDB, if you ask me, yes, they might seem like a government organization, but actually they are very, very nice. And there were many cases that we dealt with, even though there are some rules and policies to guide through how this particular couple should buy or individual should buy. But if we are able to write in and see how HDB can mitigate together, then if HDB can do it, I'm quite sure they'll be willing to help.
Yeah. Actually, last time, right, we do it HFE. Last time, what they call it? HLE.
HLE, right?
Yeah, and apart from that, you have to apply this thing called the intent to buy also. So it's two separate things. Now, although the waiting time is longer, but they lump everything inside. So once your HFE is approved, right, you got your grants, you got your max loan, you got whatever things.
No wonder they call you the HDB expert.
No. It's just that I got so many HDB cases. Yeah, then I'm not sure, I call in hotline.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
So even agents call HDB hotline.
Yeah. So if let's say you are a home buyer or seller that you got some encounterment with the HDB processing, call in the HDB hotline at 8 AM. Okay, that's where you can get it through within 5 to 10 minutes. If you call in about lunchtime, at least half an hour.
Well, that's a very good advice.
Yeah.
For me, I like to call at 5:15. Because they close at 5:30 as of the date of recording right now. And the calling through rate is actually a lot faster. But do understand that as an agent, when you call in versus you as an applicant to call in, they actually treat these two persona differently. Why? Because as an agent, we can only ask general questions, and when we talk about specifics, they won't allow us to go further.
Yes.
However, as applicant, you have your own SingPass verification, you have your own numbers, they're able to check stuff like that, and they can advise you correctly.
Yep.
So some agents will actually ask the client to go and call in HDB and get an answer there. Not because agents cannot find out, but agents are also very limited by our process.
Sometimes it's due to the PDPA lah.
Of course, that's
Right. Every time I also call in, they say, please get your client to call in. Okay, understand.
Yeah. But all in all, when it comes to policies, when it comes to these numbers, affordability check or whatsoever, we over here, we are very well equipped with tools and state-of-the-art resources, which we can check almost as close as whatever you can find on the internet.
So for BTO and resale, right, I think we also go into the location flexibility.
Yes.
On how to select a unit. High floor, low floor, corner, corridor, which facing, the sun, the feng shui, all these things.
Feng Shui HDB and I, we can't help lah.
You can't choose the layout lah. Also, we talk about the investment potential and the capital position between the two, and also the lifestyle consideration. Right?
I think more of it is lifestyle consideration because HDB is really a place for us to stay and grow our life together with our family members or even for future family planning. And that's why HDB put in a lot of, let's just say, laws to prevent people from flipping HDB. But of course, whether is it a BTO or the resale, we cannot think like it is a capital gain too.
Okay, so without further ado, shall we go into some factors on the differences between the BTO and the resale flat? Yeah, so for the eligibility for a BTO, right, you must have at least one Singapore citizen and form a family nucleus which is married, fiancé scheme, or you are aged 35 and above. Okay, but the catch is that if you are 35 and above as single, you only can buy a 2-room flexi. Whereas for a resale flat, you can actually go for a bigger unit. And of course, you must not own or dispose any private property in the last 30 months for BTO and 15 months for resale. So income ceiling wise for BTO, you have 14k a month for most flats for couple of families and 7,000 a month for singles for some 2 to 3 room flats. Why I say this is because of the current classification for the prime, plus and the standard. So with that in mind, right, the income ceiling for resale, there is no income ceiling if you are buying without grants and HDB loan. But if you are using grant HDB loan, there's a cap as well, similar to the BTO flat. Next, we'll talk about the upfront costs. Okay, for BTO usually is highly subsidized. Okay, it's lower, and of course for a resale flat is higher for upfront costs. It's market driven, and there's a catch. They may include of COV. For your cases you have done, right, what's your highest COV that you've encountered?
Wow, the last one I done, the COV was 50k. Like.
Okay, wow, that's very high.
Yeah, that's usually quite high.
Maybe you want to share with our audience, right, what does COV mean?
So COV in long, we call it cash over valuation. And cash over valuation meaning that, example, a HDB unit that is valuated by HDB themselves is valuated at 500k, example. But the selling price is at 550k. And buyer, seller agree to this 550k. Therefore, when the process is ongoing and then at time of completion, the buyer will need to pay to the seller via HDB the extra 50k in cash. And then the rest of it can either be in cash and or CPF or even via housing loan. So COV is something that a lot of buyers right now are very afraid because the valuation versus the selling price in some of the estates in Singapore might be a big gap. Yeah, because as a buyer, today I buy a resale flat, I need to pay COV, but I also need to pay for renovation.
But about COV right now, right, do you know, right, I heard from one of the seller, he told me, last time before this current recent house that you sell, I think 2 houses ago, COV was being put at the front. Okay, example now, right? We issue an OTP, option to purchase. Then with this OTP, we submit for valuation. 1 week later, valuation comes out. So nobody knows what's the COV like.
Okay.
But in the past, seller can ask for a valuation first.
Oh, actually, yeah. Now that you say that,
Right.
I'm trying to recall my own resale HDB buying process. I think you're right.
So the seller can decide how much COV they want. But now I think HDB also understand this is a flawed.
Yes.
They don't want them to overprice their housing. So they put after when OTP is being issued so that no one knows about it. So you typically, I think buyer seller, they only can use SOX valuation or use their past transaction to use as a gate. That is quite interesting. Okay, let's go into grants right now. So for BTO flat, we have the enhanced CPF housing grants up to 80,000. Of course, your income must be lower than 9,000. Flats sold at subsidized price, no family or proximity housing grant. Okay, for resale, you have your family grant as well. Proximity housing grant up to 30k if you live near parents or children. Okay, the maximum possible grant up to 230k.
Ooh, that's actually a lot.
Mm.
If the BTO is only like 400k, you minus 230k, you only pay technically 170k.
Correct. So now the question is that if let's say today I'm a couple, me and my wife is a couple, right? Our income is less than 9k or maybe 7k, and we have possibly a full grant up to 200 each k. Will you still go for BTO or resale?
Wow. Well, depending if at a point of time do I need to find a place to stay.
Immediately or not, or whether you can wait, right? I think this also become a huge consideration.
Yes, correct.
For couples, whether they can stay their parents-in-law,
Yes.
or they have place of their own.
Gone were the days where BTO building was slow. Right now, it's actually very fast.
I think now they have the different types. One is the Lego stacking, whereby you can't opt out. If you want to opt out, you can after they being TOP'd, you get a key, then you decided to either renovate or you hack. Yeah, that's a Lego. That's I think less than 3 years. Yeah, whereas the typical one is about 3 to 5 years from there.
Yeah.
Okay, so like we said, the waiting time is about 3 to 5 years for construction time, and resale flat is typically immediate. So a user transition is about 3 to 4 months, unless there's extension of stay.
Yes.
Then it will be plus another 3 months from there. Okay, so now let's talk about the price comparison between the new flat and the resale flat based on October 2025 BTO launch. Okay, you can see for me this is the OCR, right? So Bukit Batok flat is, I think the 2 flexi is about 140 to 217, and the recent transacted price around the resale flat is about 300 to 380. It's about double the price. So it's pretty crazy in a sense lah. Similarly for the 3 and 4 bedroom, I think the 3 bedroom almost 2x as well, and the 4 bedroom I think commanding the BTO price about 335 to 445,000.
Yep.
And the resale around the area is about 555 to 648. Yeah, so we can see the 4-room flat right over here, the price is almost doubled. If let's say we are using low quantum for the BTO, which is 335,000, and the 640, which is a higher quantum of the resale price, almost double as really.
But looking at it, I think the pricing for BTO is definitely more attractive, especially when all the grants comes in, as long as the couple or the individual can wait.
3 years, is it a long waiting time for you? So it's very subjective.
Yeah, very subjective.
Okay, let's go into the next CCR area.
So for CCR area in this new October 2025 BTO sales, we have Kallang View, and the BTO for 3-room flat is actually 388k to 497, and the transacted prices for the resale flats at the area is already at 780k to 830k. And most importantly, when it comes to 4-room for BTO is 539k to 698k. And we have transacted resale flats in that area from 868k to 1.2 million. In terms of pricing wise, if you are really looking for that location, you are looking for that accessibility, then 1.2 million will be the price that you need to pay for buying the resale. But of course, if you can wait and having a good ballot number, then you can probably get a preferred unit over there in a 4-room or even a 3-room.
Definitely. I think for the Kallang area, if I'm not wrong, it should be the prime location.
It is.
Right, and it should be a 10 years MOP period.
10 years MOP.
Right, so usually a lot of my friends ask me, hey Raymond, should we go for the prime location and wait the 3 years and 10 years before we can sell?
So that's about 13 years.
So we look at the general homeowners, probably maybe when they get their house at 30 years old. 30 years will be about 43 before you can sell. I think it's a kind of long waiting period. There's no right or no wrong answer.
Yes.
And in fact, you also have to consider like what is your
priorities.
Would you want to stay there for a long-term basis? Would you want to shift to another location because of work near your parents? If you ask me, this amount that I buy, if I buy a 539 for a 4-room and sell it for 1.2 million, I think it's very lucrative to me.
It is.
What about you?
It is. If you see, we have a 13 years gap based on this 10-year MOP, 539k minus 868. that almost makes up to about
7.
300k.
Yeah.
300k divided by 13 years. 1 year, maybe about 20 plus k in terms of appreciation. Is it a good amount? I feel it is okay, but we will never know if when you buy this Kallang BTO right now, what happens 13 years later.
Yeah.
But of course, when we look at resale pricing as of today, it is a very, very big jump, as well as you have $1 million HDB for sale.
Yes.
Right? But you see, the thing is, in these 13 years, as a professional real estate agent, in these 13 years, what can you do better? But we don't swing people or clients to buy condominiums at this stage, but we have to assess your needs before we can give you the right advice.
Yes.
And if buying a BTO or a resale HDB is much needed in your life, then there is no point for us to swing you, because we want to act in your interest. We want to be in your best interest as well.
So I think with that in mind, let's consider other factors before making a decision on whether resale or BTO is better. Right, so from this slide we can see mainly location flexibility is a major factor influencing the decision between BTO and resale flat in Singapore. Okay, for resale, right, there's ability to choose from a wide range of location.
Oh, a lot.
Across Singapore, including both matured and non-matured estates.
Yes.
Okay, matured I think is like maybe Toa Payoh, Tampines, Jurong, Bedok, all these. The non-matured maybe Tengah. Okay, maybe I think Canberra is slowly picking up.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, Yishun is a non-mature. Yeah.
Really?
Really. Yishun is non-mature.
Okay. Okay, I think ultimately, right, for location flexibility wise, is to select something that close to your workplace, your children's school, or even your extended family or prefer amenities. I think you're a father of 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can share with me more like how does staying near your parents or in-laws help in choosing location that you want to buy?
At the point of time when I chose my HDB flat 15 years ago, I chose the block next to my parents' place, because the time my eldest was 1.5 years and my second one was coming out soon, and I think I needed some support from my parents, because both me and my wife were working. And it's very important where we have this, in Chinese you call it 照应, this accommodative arrangement.
Correct.
Yeah. Thereafter, that's why I went into a resale. I don't have much luxury of time to buy a BTO and wait. But of course, going up there, my kids actually go to schools nearby. Underneath the block was a bus stop, and then 6 bus stops they reach their primary school.
Very convenient.
Yeah, exactly. And also, my parents can see their grandkids every now and then. Even when my kids went up to secondary school, they are just walking distance and probably one MRT stop towards the secondary school.
Yeah.
So location really depends on your needs and wants. But I'm talking about HDB. I'm talking about BTOs.
So they always say, right, it takes a village to raise a kid.
Wow. I don't have a village, but
because to be honest, it's not easy. Like a lot of friends, they always need their parents, their relative to help them to take care. Because if let's say both parents are working, it's really not so easy.
That's why the grants come in handy. Because when the grants come in and you have a full grant of 230k, actually the government already help you to offload some of your financial stress.
Right.
Therefore, we can focus on bringing up our family and cultivating family happiness.
Okay, let's talk about BTO flats. Okay, BTO flat generally the location is very limited and it's only dependent on the government plans on where they want to really build up the new BTOs.
Yeah.
And you may not always get your preferred choice. Why? It's because it's due to what?
Ballot number.
So that's why they say luck plays a big part in that sense. I have friends that ballot for 3 to 4 years.
Ayo.
Never get.
There was a friend of mine that balloted for 7 times.
Oh my god, it's crazy.
7 times. Then finally they got it. But when I go and find out the 8th time they got it, the ballot number was too lousy and they got no choice and they are so tired of waiting, then they just chose a low floor unit.
So with this in mind, right, is selection unit also a big part in BTO as compared to resale?
Sure does.
Because the ballots come in, you can't really have a choice.
And one of my friend also BTO Woodlands HDB. It's a 4-room and it is just beside Causeway Point. And I think that is a very, very good plot.
But do you know what is the ratio of that plot over there?
I got no idea.
Okay, example, if I'm not wrong, one unit, they have about 5 to 7 people went to ballot. That means, example, there's 500 units. You times 5 to 7 number of packs went to ballot for the particular development. Because it's just beside the MRT, it's so convenient.
So it's very highly subscribed.
Yes, and then the fact is that, I mean, if you really get a good number, it's really very lucky for you.
Feels like
lottery.
Exactly. And most importantly, if you bring back about 15 years ago, Pinnacle and Duxton had the same issue too.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, having that said, right, if let's say you don't want to wait, you don't want to go into this luck thing, right, I think you may also want to consider the the prime location. Yeah, because prime location, their Q number or their ratio is usually 1 is to less than 1. And if let's say you went to Bellavoy, you should get. It's just which you need to choose for.
But we need to take into consideration of the MOP period.
Correct. And there's a clawback as well.
Oh, yes.
Enough for things.
Sales proceeds go back.
And also, you can't rent out the whole unit after 10 years MOP. So a lot of restriction. But I mean, the government also don't ensure that the houses in this prime location are for own stays.
Yes,
Really not for flipping for investment purposes. Yeah, so the question now is that, would you be willing to compromise on location for a brand new flat at a lower price, or is your preferred neighborhood non-negotiable?
Personally, I think I will go for profit. Because in my current situation, I made a resale, but I wasn't an agent back then. So my property decisions were not right. And back then, I am very, very nice agent that is still currently a real estate agent, very senior one, that helping out with my this transaction last time round. There wasn't much, let's just say, choices around because I was urgent. At the same time, I just wanted to find a place and settle down ASAP. So if today anyone needs to go for resale HDB, I suggest they engage an agent and get as much advice as you can, because we need to understand that every HDB unit that we buy is 100 over thousands. But at the same time, it's not the price that we're paying. It's the price of time that we are paying. Ultimately, when we enter correctly, we need to know that we can exit correctly. And that 5 years MOP or 10 years MOP, actually we can do a lot of things in that point of time. Or the moment we make the wrong step at the start, then it's very hard to retract.
Yeah, I think regarding this wrong step, right, later we can go into more in-depth stuff. We will go into the factors and on how to choose a suitable unit. Okay, what you say about entry and exit price. So the next question to you is that, if let's say your dream location only has resale flat available, will you consider stretching your budget or settling for an older unit?
This one, very difficult. Very difficult to answer. Why? Because affordability is a big key.
Definitely.
Ultimately, if you are too stressed out paying your monthly mortgage or your HDB, some people cannot handle the stress.
Definitely.
And then eventually, you still need to sell in the future, but at a loss. However, some people have some cash reserves or has better earning power, and if they can stretch a bit more, then why not? Because some people are happy to pay more. But when it comes to preferences over location, then it really depends that extra payment, is it deducted from elsewhere? Example, lesser time in terms of traveling, lesser cost in terms of traveling, less hassle for amenities, or even for schools for your kids or your future kids.
So there's other non-tangible factors that plays into part. Okay, fair enough.
Because not everything can be calculated by money. And all these intangible costings are a big part of consideration.
Okay, let's move into the next few factors that we actually comparing the two BTOs and resale. Okay, so we have things like potential appreciation, which is I think we talked about a lot just now. Why age matters. Okay, we're going to do that in a while. The risk of resale, the renovation and the COV cash over valuation, and paying the peak price. Is it worth it or not? So I think the first one, we go into a potential appreciation. So for BTOs, generally you can generate higher capital appreciation due to the low entry price. And the resale flat is heavily influenced by remaining lease and location. Now, why should I say that the age matters? So for example, today, right, you are a young couple. You maybe just grads from uni. You come out work for 2 years. Maybe your income is about what's the fresh grade? 3.5 to about 4.2. Combined income about maybe 6 to 7 plus minus. And you all love big houses. And your ideal houses maybe is a EA or EM. And the price for EM is about...
It's easily about 900k.
900k, right? So we put it at maybe 850 to 900k.
Yeah.
So given the combined income about 7 plus to 8k a month, what's the rough affordability that you're going to have? I think your loan can goes up to probably about
500k.
Then your CPF, you work for 2 years, I think it's very easy to calculation, right? So you see, importantly, there's a shortfall. So where does this shortfall come from?
Cash or
Cash lah. But I mean, you also can roughly calculate that. Let's say you work for 2 years, after fresh graduate come out, the cash affordability also may not be that much as compared. So why age matter is that people will eventually fall into BTO is because of the affordability. So that's why they rather wait despite whatever circumstances at home, or if they really want to go in the extent of the extreme, they will rent.
Yes, correct.
Yes, I think some of the young couples also do so as well.
A lot of them are renting actually, just to wait for the BTO to come.
Exactly. So renting, is it worth it or not? That one we leave for another story for another day. Yeah. Okay, so let's now talk into the risk of resale. Usually we talk about lease decay. So what about lease decay, Dennis?
Lease decay is one of the topics that a lot of people might want to understand, and it will be in the upcoming slides later.
Then also the other risk would be hidden defects.
Hidden defects, yeah.
I think this one is some horror story. If we can go through, you go through. Just last night we got a colleague texting us.
Oh my god.
Say that
Yeah, and-
the handover of a HDB, the code rope or the seller did not clear anything. The cabinet is everywhere. It's still very dusty. Wires are everywhere. So asking us for a solution. And to be honest, there's nothing much that the buyer or the buyer agent can do, except that the seller's agent have to actually, I wouldn't say be responsible, but more of helping both parties to mitigate these things.
correct.
And also plumbing issues, for example, leakage, mold.
Mold and plumbing, they are the two big issues. Actually.
Yeah, actually mold is still visible.
Yes.
But
You still can,
plumbing is behind the walls and all these things, really you can't see that thing.
especially when you're not at the top floor, or in between, then that can be quite a hassle.
And of course, there's an unauthorized renovation. But I think now it's not too bad. Now, before completion, HDB will send a person to go down to inspect. Not all, but I think some.
And HDB is very strict on all these renovation methods, like permits, no renovation timing, and stuff like that.
You know, I heard of stories, right? You know, like some of the homeowners, HDB, right? The storeroom, you know, on top there's this round metal thing.
Yeah, the vent.
Then they remove
Okay.
because they built a cabinet on top of it.
Oh.
Then after that, they dispose
Huh.
the round thing. Because they don't know.
Okay.
They don't know when they sell the house, they have to reinstate back that thing.
That's a home shelter. That's not.
Right? Then after that, the homeowner have to go and carousel and find. But lucky they able to reinstate back.
A lot of creative ways to
Yes.
make that thing look nicer. Right?
So in any case that you want to remove certain things from HDB, keep it. So in the case that you sell, you can reinstate back again. And of course, like we mentioned, there's a potential for disputes, a disagreement over condition when handling over. Personally, I have encountered before my co-broke demanded something from my seller during the handover. Then it became a lot of disagreement. The end of we have to pay the buyer certain things.
Wow.
So the handover wasn't quite pleasant. It's a lot of awkwardness. Then it's like I'm managing my client, he managing his client
Oh yeah.
in the same house. You can't get out of the house.
Oh.
So I think
So as an agent job not easy.
actually main thing is to communicate lah. I think that's more
Very
important.
But until now, I have very pleasant experiences with buyers and sellers for HDBs. And I was just explaining to one of my clients last night when I had an appointment with them is that what really drives me in this real estate industry is when at the HDB completion appointment, when both buyer and seller meet at the HDB completion, the seller hand over the keys to the buyer, you will see the smile on the buyer's face, right? Because they know they have a dream home, they have their preferred unit. And then over there, the seller will be also having this nice smile because they received the check and also the completion that they can move on from their ex unit. And this satisfaction where I see is something that is really intrinsic. And there was just a recent case recently that I did was a HDB unit was inherited from the seller's father who passed on. And at the point of time, the keys was with me. I hand over the key to the seller. And when I saw the seller passing the key to the buyer, that moment I saw the burden being offloaded from the seller. And I can feel that he is telling himself it's time to move on. So this kind of situations make us very, I wouldn't think it's satisfied, but make us very grateful for being in this industry.
Yeah, it's beyond just the commission itself. It's more really helping the client to, some is more in life, some is to really move to a different phase of life.
Correct.
For example, the inheritance case, right? Sometimes they get emotional
Yeah.
because it's their parents' house, they've been staying there for years. So in a way, it's moving on for them. Yeah, so it's not so easy in that sense. But like you said, I think a lot of times during completion day is where you see the clients are having the smile on their face.
Yes.
Yeah, which I think is very worth it for us.
To us, it's not $1,000 smile, but it's the smile that actually keeps us going.
Exactly.
And also, most importantly, it's the satisfaction that our clients get.
Yeah, so for resale flat, right, I think another concern is paying at the peak price.
Kalang, 1.2 million.
Yeah, so always the question is that when you buy at this price, how much you want to sell in the future?
Oh yeah, man.
Will there be buyers coming in or will that be your forever home?
And look at Pinnacle at Duxton. 5 rooms at Pinnacle at Duxton are 1.5 million and above. And we managed to close one recently, which we closed it within the first viewing and we leased the unit within a few days and it's being sold.
Wow.
So location plays a big part, and when people pay at this price, I'm quite sure they have their reasons for buying. So there is always a great market plus a great demand for HDB units in Singapore.
Okay, for the next one, shall we go into how do renovation costs for resale flat compared to the waiting period for BTOs? So generally, right, renovation cost for resale is higher than BTO. Do you agree?
Definitely.
And the trade-off is that resale flat offer immediate move-in. We should really talk about it. While BTO buyers have to wait for several years for construction to complete. Okay, so let's now delve into the details. Okay, so for renovation costs, right, BTOs, I think we use a forum as a gauge. currently as of 2025, it's about probably 51 to 61,000. And BTO flats come with the basic finishes and they require mainly cosmetic or personalized works. For example, maybe your cabinetry, maybe your built-in. Yes. So this is a typical price in 2025. Whereas for resale, the cost might be higher. You might do overlay, you might do hacking, you might do rewiring, plumbing, hacking of old finishes, replacing worn fixtures. So I think typically for foreign resale in 2025, right, it can be ranging from 63 to 80,000.
Just now when you say every single item, I already hear ka-ching, 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 ka-ching.
Gone.
But it's for the need of staying in your place that design and you like.
Correct. And with this in mind, right, I think the resale flat renovation cost is about 20 to 40% more than BTO. But the good thing is immediate stay in, and you'll be staying there probably at least 5 to 8 years or even longer. Okay, waiting period 3 to 5 years for BTO. Resale flat 3 to 4 months if let's say there's no extension. If the extension another 3 months, 7 months. Okay, the scope of reno, okay, like I mentioned earlier, is more of cosmetic and personalization for BTOs and extensive upgrades, repair and customization for the resale. So in summary, BTO buyers save on renovation costs, but they must wait. Either you continue to stay in your parents' place or you rent.
This is what we call cost of waiting.
And the resale buyer pay more for renovation costs but can move in almost immediately. So the total cost difference can surprisingly be small once you factor in the waiting related factors and expenses for BTOs and higher renovation costs for resale. So the question now is, are you willing to pay more for immediate occupancy and potentially higher renovation costs? Or would you rather wait for a new or more affordable to renovate home?
Really depends on individual.
Yes, totally agree.
But one thing for sure is at least we know we can control renovation costs. And the numbers that we show here are a rough estimate depending on individual family needs. If they want something that is very luxury feel or they want something like a hotel or whatever not, then maybe the cost might even go up. And of course, depending on the finishing, in terms of the brands they get for their appliances and electrical works and whatsoever. So it's still very customizable. But yeah, these numbers are only for illustration purposes.
I understand. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Alright, so Dennis, as of now, we talk about so much about buying BTO. So you are team...
No, you're gonna ask me. I don't know.
Team resale or team BTO? Okay, I say first. I'm a team BTO.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, no, because I can wait. I can wait. So it's fine. Yeah, so I think let's talk about selling or HDB, shall we? Talk about buying for so many things already, right?
Now that we know whether to go BTO or go resale, then what's after the OP period?
Okay, before we move on, if you've got anything about BTO or resale, please feel free to contact us. Okay, we'll be more than willing to help you. Okay, so selling of HDB. Why people want to sell generally?
Only a few reasons. Firstly, they want to upgrade just in terms of space, also in terms of their asset class. Secondly, they might want to have a change of environment. Last but not least, family needs. Could be downgraders that want to right size to a smaller place. Could be also they have increasing family members, not just cats and dogs, not pets, but really humans. Or they have parents that need to move in.
Yeah, so when talking about selling your HDB flat, there's so many things to take note.
A lot.
I mean, I have encountered home buyers tell me, hey, can I DIY now? I say you can, no problem. Buy, sell, you can DIY. But the fact is that there's so many things to take note.
Yes.
Okay, how do you prepare when you want to sell a flat?
A lot of things.
Okay, what are the procedures? How to price your unit? Do you need to understand the market trend?
Yes.
What to look out for if you're a DIY seller? Okay, how do you handle negotiation and offers? And the timeline. Talk about the negotiation and offers, right? Whenever I speak to direct buyers, example, I'm selling with seller, right? I do a lot of viewings with the buyers. So ask them one question. Number one is, how long have you been looking for a unit?
Oh, okay.
Some will tell me, oh, I just started 1-2 weeks. Some will tell me 2-3 months. And I've encountered 6 months. 6 months to look for a unit. So my question to the person is that, okay, 6 months, have you offered for any unit before? Yes, but it didn't go through.
Didn't go through.
Yes. That means, someone outbidded them. So there's a lot of skills and technique in terms of negotiation or even offers. I think it's not easy for DIY buyers. So for those DIY buyers actually manage to get your flat, congrats, because it's not easy. And I think you really have to work with a good co-broke seller, an agent that really help both of parties to work together. Otherwise, sometimes it can be quite a bad horror stories, if you ask me.
I was just speaking to a new RAS last night, and he was telling me, actually, I didn't know agent got so many things to do when you buy sell HDB.
Exactly right.
And even the agent can say that. Imagine you as a DIY buyer or seller. Even though we have all the information in HDB website or in Google or all the AI tools and what so, but the execution part is the crucial point.
Yep. So for selling of HDB, like I know you recently just sold HDB not long ago. Yeah. So how do you prepare when you're selling your flat?
Wow, actually, I prepare a lot of things. Like what you mentioned just now, one of the most important part that I will pay a lot of attention is the place itself. Because of the place itself, we have to make sure that it is presentable and most importantly, gives the best and the first impression.
I totally agree with you.
And I spent a lot of time you know, and we need to clean up, we need to help them
Declutter.
yeah.
You know what I always tell my direct buyers? I'll say that, example in my buyer, I'll tell you, hey Dennis, you know we can have 1,001 criteria, high floor, corner, whatever things, right? I don't corridor, that kind of things, right? But you should understand, 90% of my buyers that buy through me, right? I think about more than half don't usually go with their criteria.
Okay.
Why? I tell you why. Because usually the unit they choose and offered the best price is when they walk into the unit and they feel damn good.
Yeah.
It's really, like you said, the first impression. It's really first impression that really plays a very big part in that sense.
The feel good factor is the key thing when we do buying or selling. Really.
I think that's one. Also, for a bigger quantum unit, for example, a landed, sometimes the owner also plays a big part.
Yeah.
In terms of how they converse, share with them the heritage or maybe how long they've been living there, all this. So I think it's the feel It's the feel that really plays a big part in that sense. Okay, let's see the next slide. So today, if let's say you have a unit that's like that and you wanted to conduct a viewing, how would you share with me as a professional agent?
There's a few things I will do actually. So for example, I'll arrange the part here. I arrange here. I'll tidy up here. I'll probably shift the cabinet over here as well. Right, just to make it nicer.
And spacious.
Yeah, and spacious.
Yeah.
And I mean, when it comes to this makeshift curtain here, I will remove it at the time of viewing. But the easiest way to make the room look good and better is actually the paint. We just need to have a flash coat of paint in white, ceiling and the wall, without looking at all the scuff marks or whatever not. I think it will be perfect.
Okay.
And tidying up actually is not the very difficult thing. As professional agents like us, we are good in anything. We actually help the owner to tidy up it too.
Yeah. So usually what we do, we clear up all the unwanted stuff.
Yeah.
Make sure the unit looks clean and neat and tidy.
Yes.
And make the space look larger and brighter. Right. I think a lot of times why the unit looks small is because there's too many
Clutter. Yep.
Yes. Actually, once you clear that out, right, it should be quite straightforward and spacious. And of course, repair and maintain any plumbing issue, leakage or wiring. And if let's say the owner don't stay there, we can even do staging.
Yeah.
Okay, that means you bring in certain furnitures for maybe a 1 month or 2 months. I think that will be ideally helping your clients to even check up the price for another 10,000-20,000.
Yes, possibly.
Yeah? Okay, let's look at the next slide.
Which I'm already here.
So, if let's say given a choice, would you have the room on the unit to be on the left or the right side?
Of course, the right.
Okay, so it is much cleaner,
Yes.
much spacious, and if let's say I'm the buyer that comes in, I feel, hey, everything is like on point.
But most importantly, when a buyer comes in and look at the room on the right hand side or the unit on the right hand side, the first thing they will do is not to see how good the walls are. In fact, if you ask me, the first thing they will do is to see whether can they visualize themselves staying in this place and what kind of furniture they put in to make sure that they are comfortable.
Exactly.
So the moment you have this portion where they can visualize them staying there, I think we are 50% in the battle, considered winning.
I think one of the viewing that we conducted also is that as we bring another group of buyer around, we sit them down on the sofa, talk to them. Okay, we let them see this view. They bring to the kitchen, talk in the kitchen, let them understand the space in the kitchen, bring them to the room as well, talk to them, and then let them understand that, hey, imagine you buying this house. How do you feel? Do you feel at home already? Or you don't feel good? You can see from their body language sometimes. So I think, like you said, the visualization is very important. Okay, so usually when you price for a unit, then it's what's your pricing strategy?
Wow, this one trade secret cannot say one. But honestly, we will look at the surrounding resale transactions and also we will look at the condition of the flat. And most importantly, we need to discuss with the seller what is the amount they are willing to let go of the price.
Definitely. So I think for me, right, usually in the past, I used to do a top down. What it means is I top down. For example, today my closing price is about 500k.
Okay.
Last time I'll do 540. Asking price in Guru or whatever platform, then you slowly mark down, negotiate other things.
Okay.
Then you close to maybe 520, right? But then I realized that a lot of people are doing that.
Okay.
And the fact that they're so unique in terms of marketing. And when you do that, people will sure negotiate price with you.
Sure.
And push down your price, right? And usually buyer, when they go and see a listing, what they'll do, they also depends on the valuation,
Yes, correct.
which is indicative by SRX, or the past valuation around the area, or even the surrounding asking price.
Yep.
Okay, so the tip is that if you overprice your unit by too much, you tend to have a longer waiting time. Unless your unit is super renovated, high floor,
Yes.
perfect facing,
Corner unit.
everything is sweet spot. Okay, then that one, maybe $1 million is fine. But I think the more importantly is how to price it strategically,
Yes.
so that your unit can sell within the, I would say, the shortest possible time, but to the price that you want and not drag for too long. So let me just share with you an example. Okay, so now we're going to the next slide on some examples that I used to do before. This function is 2024 January. It's a 4A model, 93 square meter, 1000 square feet with no any quota restriction. So technically, I think it's quite a good unit itself. If you can see from pictures.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's very clear,
Yeah.
it's very decluttered.
It's very good.
Okay, renovation is not too bad as well. We can see the next slide on the map. However, the location is not the best.
Here's the newer plot of Yishun.
Correct.
500 plus.
It's not near to either MRT, Khatib and Yishun, and I think probably at least 5 to 6 bus stop away. Next slide into the valuation. So at that moment, okay, the asking valuation is about 542. The highest transaction is about, let me see, I think it's 585, and the rest hovers around maybe 52 to 53. Okay, so if you are me, how much will you price your unit?
Our price at the X value, which is 542.
542, but usually people want to price a bit higher lah. Expected closing price is about 550.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I show you what's next. Okay, this is at that moment how much people are getting.
Ah, okay.
585, 550, 550. Okay, with that in mind, there's no right or wrong in your pricing strategy. But for what I did,
How much did you do?
okay, we priced at 540.
Hey,
As what you mentioned, with a starting from price. At the same day, we attract 12 group of buyer on the first viewing. 4 group offered, and we went to close it at 570.
nice.
20k above seller's expectation. So I think the pricing strategy is very important lah, especially when you are DIY seller. For example, you are DIY buyer. You don't know what to offer, how to offer.
Correct.
I think these are a few things that you should take note of. For me, I felt that there's no right or wrong in your strategy to price, but which strategy is able to attract more buyers. Why? Because more buyers equal more chance of viewings. Also means there's more offers. Also means there's more closing. You see? And if let's say you have an agent, right, your agent should be doing the market research of the recent transaction price, understanding the trends and how to price competitively. Okay, one thing I think is quite important, so the agent should not be afraid to tell you what pricing to put. For example, like you are my client, you tell me, hey Raymond, I want 600. I say can. No problem. We can put 600, but the fact that do we have viewership? Do you have any traction? We can do for maybe a period of time and see does it make sense. Then we must have plan B and plan C. But for some agent, they say, okay, I put. Wait. Then come to point why the seller says, hey, why always no viewing?
Yes, correct.
Can you do something about it? Right, so for me, I felt that the agent should not be afraid to tell you like, what's the plan A, plan B and plan C if things doesn't work out. At the end of the day, your asking price does not equate to the closing price. We put up at 540 and we close at 570,
Yes, sir.
way above the asking price.
But as DIY buyers or sellers, we also need to understand that buyers always want to buy low,
Of
sellers want to sell high.
Of course.
And this part, it is no wrong in terms of human psychology. However, do understand that the listing price will not and might not be the selling price or the buying price. So sometimes a lot of DIY buyers or even our clients, some of them, they actually think that the listing price is the selling price. So we need to understand that this is something that within our control.
So most of the listing that you see, or let's say the agent put up online, where are they usually at?
Oh yeah, right now this always on probably Guru and Carousel, on these two main platforms that people will look at.
But is there more to that?
Definitely.
Maybe let's see the next slide. See if you recognize any of them.
What's the last one on right?
Actually, it's a flyers lah.
Oh, flyers.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's a flyers. So what happened is that I think the main two platform the agent uses are probably the Guru and Identical. The more traditional agents, they will use newspaper or maybe the different quantum of houses. Maybe a landed, they might even use a newspaper. And currently we have our latest platform. It's called the HDB Resale Portal.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for DIY seller. And some of the more creative agents use their social media their own personal branding to market themselves through these things like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube videos, or even flyers itself. So which do you think is the most effective marketing platform?
Actually, any kind of marketing is good marketing.
As long as there's someone to make. But I think for me, I feel that the most typical is Property Guru.
Yes.
So most of the agents have an account with that, and usually we use that to list our listing. And currently, I felt the most least effective might be newspaper.
Okay.
Yeah, because even newspaper physically they are phasing out. They are going to digital newspaper.
Digital classified ads.
But then again, like I said, there's still a
Small
group.
group of people
Correct.
that still read newspapers and look for listings for newspapers.
Yeah, so again, it depends on what's your requirement and what's your needs for your listing itself. Okay, so let's talk about open house.
Open house.
Okay, whenever you do a open house tour for your clients,
Yeah.
what will you expect? For example, you are serving a seller. How do you do your whole tour like?
I'll make sure the buyers come in and
Mm.
they are greeted with a warm introduction.
Okay.
And right from the start, this is my own personal trade secret. So I will make sure that right from the start they feel at home. Yeah. And I will make sure that the first point over here is to ensure that the place is all lit up, lights all switch on, and it's airy. And even if the fan is on or aircon is on, I think it makes a great difference too. Because if you ask me, buyers will view a few houses in the
Yes.
same day in a short period of time.
So
So if they come to a place and it is cooling,
it
it actually
calm them down.
calm them down and makes them a little bit more comfortable. And this slight comfortness
Yep.
is a lot easier
Correct.
for the closing agent or even the seller to speak to them. And that's why it is very important.
I think you're right. So I think what kind of vibes that I usually want my buyer to feel right is that I will play some jazz music
Oh,
on the aircon,
okay.
dim the light a little bit, yeah, make them feel comfortable, especially after a hot day outside.
Mm.
Because usually our viewings are from maybe 12 to 4 p.m.
Yes.
And like you said, they'll be going to different houses. Some agents prefer to do open house whereby they get 10 group of buy-in,
Mm.
so crowded.
Yeah.
I've been to one. I asked the agent, what are you doing?
Oh my god.
No, because it's like pasar malam. I go in, I cannot even cross the living room because there's 3 other groups blocking my way. You can't even see where the fixtures, you can't even see the floor tiles properly, you can't even see where the built-ins.
Yeah.
Then I came out. Then I tell my buyer, I'm really sorry about it. Then that same group of agent came down. We want to go see another house. Not. They bring all the group of buyers go see another house together. I was like, okay, I think we're not going to do it. Yeah, but I felt that the experience for a buyer must be pleasant.
Correct.
They must be able to see everything of the house, understand, and really have a feel of it. Yeah, I think that's more important.
Yeah, otherwise they cannot visualize, like we mentioned just now.
Exactly. That's why I say right in the last point, there's different style of agents.
Correct.
Depends on individual how they want to do it. Maybe they'll do like a price bidding. That's why all everyone come in, the fastest hands win or not. Yeah. Okay. So next up, let's talk about negotiation and offer. Throughout the whole selling process or the buying process, right? Depends who you serve.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the most difficult process in the whole?
Yes, I
Procedure.
agree 100%, 1000%.
Why leh?
It is, we need to find the middle point.
Mm.
And as agents, there's a lot of talks, a lot of
Mm.
costs to make sure that the middle point is being reached
Mm,
between the
mm, mm.
seller
Yeah.
and the buyer. And if both sides have real estate agents representing, then this is the part where it might be a lot easier.
Mm.
And do take note that while I was trying to settle a HDB deal recently, and I was always on the phone call, during dinner with family, doing driving or whatever not. And my son, there was one instance a night, and I just got a call from the buyer agent. And then after that, my son said, why property agent so difficult to do one? Why every time talk, but in the end never close deal?
Mm.
And for his age, I think he also see that it is not easy for an agent
Yep.
to settle a deal, especially where this part we are talking about, which is a negotiation. So the middle point is where the agents come in.
Yep.
Can a DIY buyer and seller do it? Definitely you can, but each of them has their own expectation
Mm.
and how to manage and
Yeah, exactly.
meet that expectation to a point where both can accept. That is something that we need to see how we can mitigate.
I ever encountered a DIY buyer, right? They came in and offered, then they tell me, it's okay. I also offer another unit.
Okay. Yeah.
See which one we close, lor.
Yes.
Then as a seller agent, right, even if you push for this offer for your seller to close it, then you come back to your buyer and say, sorry, that's why I accept it. Then your seller deems that you are not competent.
Yes.
But he doesn't know the whole situation, you see.
Correct.
Yeah, so sometimes the other buyer, they are very not easy to manage because they don't know how the whole process works.
Yes.
Whereas for co-broke agent, we know our job is to assist both clients in the best interest to
Correct.
close it,
Yeah.
to find the middle ground. Yeah, so I think that is quite important, if you ask me.
And negotiation and offering, even in HDB, not just in terms of pricing, we have to talk about the timeline. And that timeline is also one of the most versatile thing
Yes.
that we can
Yes.
manage from there.
Yes. I think the one we go to the next slide whereby we talk about the flexibility. So when you do a negotiation offer, right, you must look at the whole package. Whereby you can see from the slide, right, the offer, the option fee, the excise fee, the submission, the extension, rent free.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Wow.
a lot of buyers come in, what is this, what is this, what is this? I mean, I always explain to them, but they have to understand what is the whole package like. Then after they will ask you, excess really not submit immediately, you know, the kind of things. So evaluate not just the price, but the overall terms and condition, the flexibility, the timeline, or the inclusion of features. Does a higher price matter? More of the flexibility in timing. Some seller will rather purchase their flat first,
Okay.
then they sell.
They purchase the next house.
Correct.
Yeah.
For me, it's a very risky call because sometimes you don't know when your house will sell.
Yeah. There's a
But some client would rather that, and they don't mind having more flexibility in their timing, and they don't mind paying for higher price.
yes. Correct.
Yeah, so sometimes you have to do that.
But same thing, I mean, for buyers like that, also for sellers that really bought their next unit already before they even sold their current unit, there's a little bit of risk there, like we mentioned, in terms of potential ABSD. Of course, other than that, you'll be the stress.
Not just ABSD, whether you got the fund to buy first.
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
There's
most
a lot
of the
those
homeowners, you rather have the funds in your account, OA, whatever, before you can buy the next house. Okay, last up would be the negotiation tactics and the mindset. Incremental bargaining, okay? Usually, we will not ask the buyer to review the lowest price first, right? Counter offer in a small increments,
Yes.
right? And be willing to walk away if your needs aren't met.
Yeah.
Means to say you must have a baseline. Okay, what is your highest ceiling that you want to go into? Of course, using the past transaction, using your cash COV, all these things to decide. Understand the buyer's motivation. If the buyers are in a hurry, example, need to move out quickly,
Yeah.
okay, technically you have more bargaining power. So I think last question is that, have you ever been in negotiation where you felt that the other party was desperate? And how did it change your approach?
Wow.
This question, you asked me before, it's supposed to be giving you a, no lah, but it's more of like a more real life thing. How can you react on time?
I think for agents, it's very important that we are standing in a very neutral point of view.
Correct.
Because if we are not and we are siding with either side,
Yeah.
then the whole deal is lopsided.
Exactly.
Especially when we know who we should pay our fiduciary duty to. As a seller, representing the seller, we need to make sure that we have everything done, spoken, negotiated, communicated in seller's duty. Likewise, vice versa for buyer. And if there's any point of time your agent is very kanchiong or very hasty in pushing the deal to close, then I think we should take a step back and then we look into it and how we can manage it to find that particular comfortable middle point for both the seller and the buyer.
Yeah. I think more important is the communication part. Like both co-brokes or even direct buyer or seller must know the situation of both parties.
Yes, correct.
Right. I think once you have open communication, you understand and you agreeable to the terms and condition. I think that's more important.
Yeah, it's true.
Then moving forward, there'll be more open communication rather than, oh, you know, that time you say it would never be an ending from there.
And all these are behind the scenes. That is not visible to the
Client itself,
sellers.
correct.
Yeah, to the clients. Now, of course, in the DIY selling and buying of your own, then probably you will encounter that.
So exactly that's what we're going to know in the next slide. We will talk about the common pitfall by DIY seller and buyer. I think more importantly is a lack of preparation. Okay. Example for seller point of view, they always say that DIY seller, the offer come in. They always say that, oh, my property value is this one what? Why you give me solo offer? And in fact, maybe if you use the SIS valuation which is indicative and the past generation you can see from the very obvious, maybe it's, you don't check. Okay. Second thing is getting emotional. Everything around my house is good. Near this, very convenient. Then that's where the emotions come in.
Yes.
Can you find another 10,000 more? Whereas, I mean, we've been fighting for the past 20,000 before that already, yeah? Okay, that's one part. The last part is rushing to accept the deal. It can be the first offer is always the best, or the first offer is always not the best, right? So it really depends, okay? So would you rather hold out for your ideal price and risk waiting for months, or accept and fair offer moving forward and move on?
This one very important. This question is very important for everyone out there.
Yep.
Ultimately, buying and selling, like what I always told my clients, it must be a happy thing.
Yep.
Should any point of time that you feel a little bit down or unhappy about certain parts of the deal,
Stop.
then yeah, we need to stop. Yeah, because if you are not happy during the process, or if you're not happy when you completed the sale or the buying, then something is not right. So you should be happy. So therefore, like you mentioned again, open communication is important. Whether you have an agent or not.
Okay, so big question. Should you buy or sell without an agent?
Ayah, must come with us. Don't buy with any other agent. Don't sell with any other agent. Come with us.
So I think ultimately, whichever agent that you choose, importantly is must be able to fight in your best interest.
Yes.
That's more important. Yeah. Okay, so next we talk about agent support. A skilled agent actually brings market knowledge, negotiation experience and can act as a buffer to keep emotions in check. Okay, they help to filter serious buyers, handle counter offers, and manage paperwork for a smoother process.
Oh yeah.
Not all agents are equal. Okay, some are better negotiator, some have better network, they can cast the network or the listings, yeah. Probably what you can do is that ask about their recent deals.
Correct.
Or their negotiation style, how do they do things before you choose the agent. If you have chosen a property agent before, the question you should ask that what did they do that make the process easier or harder for you. I've encountered direct buyers, go with agent, then came out themselves doing direct buyers again. That means they never go through a deal.
Oh.
They felt that the agent did not do anything.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, always listen to stories to them, understand better as well, so that they help me to become a better agent.
Oh yeah, that's true. Learning from other people's experiences.
Exactly. Okay, so next up, let's talk about the timeline of a HDB transaction. So a typical timeline is about 3 to 4 months. Yes. I have recently met with a seller. They tell me, huh? So long Not 2 weeks
2 weeks.
I say no, of course. Because the whole process, they are not familiar. That's why I always break it down. So you can see from here, right? From the top part here, top left, we have the option to purchase being issued. That means that's where your offer being accepted with all the terms. Then at about 21 days later, within 21 days, they can decide to exercise.
Yes.
What you call the OTP lah. After the OTP is issued, that's where the buyer have to submit for valuation and pay $120. And if let's say they're taking a bank loan, they have to secure a letter offer. So within 21 days, they can choose to exercise the OTP. If let's say there's COV, okay, they can choose not to exercise. Then the seller will choose to actually forfeit this 1,000 and restart the whole process again.
Correct.
So after that, if let's say after 21 days or before that they choose to exercise, they have to pay another 4,000. This is called the exercise fee. Then with that in mind, okay, you can, this is called the 7 days on the left side, is called the submission day. This submission day can vary from 7, 14, 30, 50 and up to 80 days.
It's a variable.
It's a variable. So usually it depends on the buyer and the seller terms on what they agree. Okay, subsequently they have to pay about $80 for the application. And within 28 days, HDB will accept your approval if let's say everything goes well. Okay, then from there, buyer have to go to endorse. Both parties, in fact, have to go to endorse the document. But subsequently will be the completion date itself. So from the start to the end, it's about 3 to 4 months.
Yep.
But if let's say there's an extension of stay, will be after the 4 months plus another 3 months. So can extension of stay be less than 3 months?
Possible.
Possible. Can it be more than 3 months?
Cannot.
Cannot lah. It's a HDB ruling, cannot lah. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
So knowing how the process and the timeline works, right?
Yep.
Actually, should you, as a DIY seller, do it yourself? This is the most important part where we would like to have everyone to understand. Yes, I think a lot of people are very independent as well as all the information are online and is easily retrievable. But the thing is, there are these 4 pointers that is on the slide right now that makes a DIY seller or even a buyer to reconsider. Now, even though HDB is also encouraging citizens or sellers and buyers to do it on your own because they started the resale flat listing form on the HDB website itself, but looking at all the 4 things and the previous stuff that we just mentioned in this session, actually there's a lot of negotiables, there's a lot of variables that we need to consider. And one of the main things will be the legal drafting and the delays and the possibly appeals. Because to us, not every deals are straightforward. Some people have certain amount of CPF they can't use. Some people don't have enough CPF and they don't know when it's coming in. Or even they have not a straightforward couple situation. Maybe a mother and daughter or a father and daughter situation or even siblings. And all this will need to be negotiated.
I think let alone that, I think a lot of times is couple usually they are working out. Whether do they have the time to manage?
Oh yeah, that's for sure too.
We give into 2 different perspectives. Seller, once I put out listing in the portal, I must able to reply all the buyers.
Oh yeah.
Then I must conduct viewing at the timing of it.
Correct.
After that, talk about negotiation. Then you have those kind of buyers that put 3 different offers.
Yes.
That may not be the serious kind. Or whether do you even check their HFE, whether being approved. For buyer DIY, you are already so tired. Okay, I see you understand how Property Guru works. The first page of Property Guru is always being turboed and boosted by the listing agent. So the one at the top of the list doesn't mean it's the most valuable buy. So by the time you reach page 4, what will you do? Tired.
Tired already.
Tired.
Don't want to keep on looking.
Tired. So for me, why not put this stress into an agent? Tell them you go and do your job. Yeah, it will be much easier, I felt. And your job is to just tell them, okay, I'm free this Saturday 4 to 6. Arrange viewing for me. That's it. That's, I think, will be much better lah.
And last but not least, the legal contract. Yes, it's a very standard option to purchase form. But exactly where to sign, who should sign, And when to sign, that's also something that you might be able to find on the internet. But from there on, whether would you go to a HDB conveyancing firm or can you go to a law firm? And that is also something to consider. Both have their pros and cons. And of course, that being said, it is important that any buyer or seller should understand.
Definitely. Okay, let's move into the next topic.
So you see, after we spoke so much about whether we should go BTO, resale, what are the pros and cons, when should you buy, whether should you pay for this price, what should you do, and everything else, it is not to scare anyone off, but rather it is to make sure that buyers and sellers like yourself, you are confident to do this together with someone that you trust. And in this case, will be a professional real estate agent. And both of us, we have been in the industry for a while. And that being said, we have dealt with enough cases to understand where are the potential little stones that DIY buyers or sellers might trip over or even delay the deal, or even, last but not least, they might not be able to buy and sell at their preferred price. Sellers might sell way lower than their expectation because they didn't have someone professional to help. Buyers might buy higher than what they should. Like in this case, I think Raymond, just now you told me that you actually had a DIY buyer that went to buy a unit on their own and they got into a lawsuit because of little intrinsic details that didn't obey or they didn't see. I got DIY seller that looked for me after they sold, but eventually when I find out, they were selling way below their valuation, and this resulted in a negative sale.
Wow.
And it was not one time, it was 2 times.
Okay.
So I feel, yes, we can all do things on our own, we can DIY. You know, a lot of us will also buy cars DIY too. But that's exactly why buying a car and buying a house, there are 2 different matters.
Different quantum.
Different quantum as well.
Yes.
Totally different quantum. So today, if you were to have a professional agent to assist you in buying or selling, these are the few things that they should have. And in this case, we do have. Because firstly, we have state-of-the-art resources in our iPad, in our phones, in instant. We are able to find out the valuation and what should be your proposed selling or buying price. Because all these are done by our agencies. And it's not just for one unit, one location. It's the whole of Singapore. Second, other than the platforms that we talked about just now, Property Guru, 99, Co-Carousel, and whatever not, we have access to off-platform listings. We have access to off-platform information, whether is it for sellers or buyers, or even landlords and tenants. Most importantly, all these are tools or even resources that only a professional agent will have. Last but not least, a lot of people don't understand actually they can use partial CPF or full CPF or even full cash or partial cash. And all these strategies in terms of how you manage your money during the purchase is very important. Because some people might have a lot of CPF, some people might not. And if you have cash, good for you. But how do you utilize this cash to your full advantage? Whether is it to sell or whether is it to buy. And especially when it comes to age, in our CPF, we have different kind of accounts, right? We have OA, SC, we have MA.
Correct.
And what can you use, what can you not use? Plus, if you are almost reaching 55 or above 55, we have something called the RA, and we need to fulfill your potential FRS, full retirement sum.
Or more importantly, should you sell before or after 55?
Exactly.
Yes.
So all these are very important. You can read on Google, you can read through ChatGPT, but for 100% clarity, you need someone who has gone through these situations, understand the policies, constantly upgraded, then you'll be able to find the correct and accurate answer. So that is why as professional agents, like both of us here, we are really able to help any buyers or sellers, whether you are DIY or not. Ultimately, we want to give 2 things to buyers or sellers or clients of ours. Firstly, we want to assure you that we're able to do our job correctly in your interest. Second, we want to make sure that you have clarity in every single step of the buying/selling process. So to conclude our session today, right, it is not to sell ourselves, but really to let you understand why HDB is an integral part of our lives. And most importantly, after saying so much, these are the 3 things that I urge every single one that you should consider, including Raymond will want to tell you that actually, because he is so good at HDB, he has been keeping a very strong outlook about the resale market currently. And right at the start of this session, we also talk about the BTOs, right? So BTOs can be an option for many of us as well, especially when we got 2 chances in our Singapore citizenship.
Definitely.
Right. But second, keeping a close watch about the property market is very important. And we do have materials that we can send it to you instantly, almost every month. and whether is it a HDB, lender, private property, or even for rental market, plus even overseas market, we do have all this information. To sum up, whether you want to buy or whether you want to sell, most importantly, you are equipped with this information that both of us can give you. And last but not least, it is good to take action. Because if you don't take action, you could be like some of my clients that have this thing called profits erosion and also overwhelming accrued interest in terms of CPF.
That resulted into negative sale. Yes.
Yeah. So that being said, these are our numbers, these are our QR codes. Feel free to look for us and we'll be more than willing to give you an ad.
If not, we'll see you in the next video.
Yahoo!